Yes, we answer requests here on Mark Rogers TV, and our latest is coming from the Captain Awesome Man, apparently an Oregon State football fan. The Beavers coming off a surprising 9-3 2012 in the regular season. They lost the Alamo Bowl to Texas 31-27, but that was their fourth loss, but third of 4 points or less. The other two to Stanford and Washington. Oregon State was blown out by hated arch rival Oregon in the Civil War 48-24. The flashy uniforms and the fast offense, too much for Oregon State. Again, they lost that game by 24. Oregon, a national program. Oregon State doing very well to stay within the conversation because this was a program that went 3-9 under Mike Riley in 2011. So there was a chance to slip into oblivion. But Riley rallied the troops, developed, coached up players as he typically does. The guy is an excellent, excellent football coach. And he and his staff uncovered talent, hidden talent, specifically in California and along the West Coast and also in Oregon. But they are playing second fiddle, kind of a Michigan State situation. And Riley really has to harness all of his coaching resources to coach up the players and stay relevant in the Pac-12. He's been able to do that for the most part in winning 7-8 football games during his second stint at Oregon State. Let's see what he's got coming back in 2013. At quarterback, you've got Sean Mannion and Cody Vaz. Mannion, 15 touchdowns, 13 picks, 65% completion percentage. He was the starter in game one. He got hurt. Cody Vaz came in, and some would argue played better than Mannion. 11 touchdowns and 3 picks, so the touchdown to pick ratio much better for Vaz and a 59% completion percentage. The thing to consider here, they are stark contrast when it comes to what they bring you in terms of production. Vaz is the guy that's going to take care of the football. The interception ratio is low, but he's not going to make the big play. Mannion takes his shots downfield, creates the big play, but also turns it over way too much. Mannion, boom or bust. Vaz, conservative. So depending on Riley's perspective on the situation and what he needs out of this offense, that tips us off to the type of offense he wants to run and the play calling the Beavers are going to execute in 2013. Expect Mannion to be the opening day starter, but this is not a done deal. These guys will battle all season for that number one spot on the depth chart. At running back, you've got Storm Woods, who was very productive in 2012, just under 1,000 yards at 940, 4.9 per carry, and 13 touchdowns for Storm Woods. Okay, you also have Teron Ward, who ran for 415, 6.1 per carry, and 6 touchdowns. You've got a depth problem because really these are the only two backs with any kind of experience or a pedigree coming out of high school, unless you factor into the equation true freshman Lawrence Madison, ESPNU's number 81 rated running back coming out of high school. So depth issues at running back, but you've definitely got a good one in Storm Woods, and also some would say a much better breakaway guy in Teron Wood, who ran for 6.1 yards per carry in 2012. At wide receiver, definitely, again, standout players at the top, but we've got depth problems because one of the best in all of college football, Marcus Wheaton, 90 catches, 1,235 yards, and 11 touchdowns. He's gone. So you got Brandin Cooks, who caught 68 for 1160 and 5 touchdowns. He steps into the number one wide receiver position. Okay, who's going to be the 2 guy? Who's going to be the 3 guy or the 4 guy when you go to 4 wide receiver sets? The pickings are slim here. Richard Mullaney caught 13 for 156 last season. He's the only guy with true experience that's going to line up at wide receiver. Then you've got all sorts of prospects. You've got a redshirt freshman in Malik Gilmore, and you've got a couple prospects in Hunter Jarman. You also have Jordan Villeman. These 2 guys were 2 of the top 75 rated prospects at wide receiving, according to ESPNU, coming out of high school, so they could contribute, but to really ask Villeman or Jarman to step in as true freshmen and produce big numbers at Oregon State would be a tough thing to expect. Expect, on the other hand, for there to be big production coming out of the H-back and the tight end spots with Connor Hamlet, 32 receptions, 403 yards, and 3 touchdowns out of the H-back position, and also Caleb Smith, who only caught 2 passes last season, but he looks to be the number 1 rated tight end on the depth chart coming into August drills. So Oregon State going to have to come up with a number 2 and 3 and 4 option at a wide receiver in replacing Marcus Wheaton and also some other guys there at wideout. The offensive line is really solid, but again, depth issues after we get past the 4 returning starters. We talk about Michael Phillip, Grant Anger, Josh Andrews, and Isaac Sumalo. All those guys have multiple starts. We're talking about 35 career starts for Phillip, Anger with 21, Andrews with 19, and Sumalo with 13 career starts. After that, the pickings are slim along the offensive line, but they've got the 4 solid starters. Turning to defense, along the defensive front, 4 of the 6 top productive players in terms of tackles for loss, and sacks will not be back. Only 2 come back, but certainly the key guy in Scott Crichton, one of the best in college football. Check out our post on the top defensive linemen, the top 10 in the land, and you will hear the name Scott Crichton. 9 sacks last season, 17.5 tackles for loss. He is joined up front on the defensive end spot by Dylan Wynn with 1 sack and 2 tackles for loss. Those are the production. That's the production coming back along the defensive front for Oregon State. Otherwise, nothing coming back, so depth issues there. Again, we've got stars like Woods and Crichton and Cooks at wide receiver, but the depth is not there, and that's the theme across the board. Not so much at linebacker, where we've got 2 really good football players coming back in Michael Doctor with 11 tackles for loss, and also DJ Alexander at 7 tackles for loss. Probably the best spot, other than quarterback on this football team in regards to quality and quantity, would be at defensive back. The big loss here is Jordan Poyer, who picked off 7 passes last season. Other than him, 3 of the 4 starters come back in the defensive backfield with Rashad Reynolds, 64 tackles and 3 picks. You've got Ryan Murphy, 52 tackles and 2 picks at safety, and also joined at safety by Tyreek Zimmerman, who had 51 stops and 0 picks. The 2 players to look out for in the defensive backfield that need to step in and play minutes and quality minutes and make plays would be cornerback Steven Nelson, a JUCO transfer, so he's expected to step right in because he's only got 2 years to play. And also the 25th rated defensive back, Charles Okonkwo. This player, again, the 25th rated defensive back coming out of high school by ESPNU. He could get some playing time as a true freshman. All right, that's what we've got defensively and offensively. And again, the theme is thin all over the place. So injuries are going to hurt this football team more than most, but you've got the playmakers in Woods at running back, Cooks at wide receiver, and Crichton, one of the best in the land at defensive end. The quarterback battle is going to continue, we would expect, all season unless injuries take over, because both of these quarterbacks are capable. Neither one's a superstar, but Mannion's the big play guy. Vaz, based on the track record, is going to take care of the football better than Mannion. Got their kicker coming back in Trevor Romaine. He hit on 16 of 18. The schedule lines up for a possible, if they avoid the upset, 7-0 record marching into Stanford on October 26th. Cardinals hosting the Beavers. And again, Oregon State, if they toe the line, could be 7-0 heading to Stanford in late October. But then after that, Stanford, USC, Arizona State, Washington, and Oregon. So we see the Beavers finishing at 8 up and 4 down. 8-4 record for the regular season for Oregon State coming into 2013. That's what we've got on Oregon State. Oregon State fans, we know that you know the recruits, so we would love mostly for you to step up and talk to us about some of these recruits. 2 of the top 75 receivers in Jarman and Villeman. Big recruit also with Madison at running back. Would love to hear your take on how these guys did in spring practice, if they had a chance to participate, and also coming into August drills, and also our 8-4 prediction on Oregon State right here on Mark Rogers TV.